social media expectations versus real life pressure. Are we mixing the two and causing ourselves more anxiety, more pressure, just more demand from our lives by having these unrealistic videos, images placed in front of us on a daily basis? I mean, it's all well and good to be ambitious and get motivation from other people's success, but is it getting to a point where it's creating a pressure which then makes us unhappy with simpler elements of life, because the superficial aspects of life are thrown in our face, money, cars, the high life, so to speak? And does that erode our thought process on good relationships, family? Each one of those things, whether you want to be successful as a professional in your career, have a relationship, be a parent, be a good family member, friend, all of them require time, and something's going to have to give in terms of sacrifice if we want to succeed in one of those things. And that's the difficulty, right? We're starting to see that we're chasing, let's say, the dream, superficial dream. We want to have a life that is calm. We can buy what we want, do what we want. But in order to do those things, you will need to sacrifice a lot. So if we look at the most successful of people, they are completely dedicated to their career. And in turn, if someone is like the most dedicated parent, it's really hard for them to then focus on their career at the same time. So when we see the social media images and lives of people, and we have to remember that not all of it is real. Some of it is just taken for the moment, and then turn off the camera, everything goes back to normal, or it's not as real as we expect. It could be holidays and people pretend it's their real days. It could be the fact that somebody's had a birthday and it looks extravagant. Doesn't mean that their whole day is like that, or their whole world is like that, their whole life. And even if it is, good luck to them. Success is normally earned, and so therefore, if someone has earned the right to have a nice life, great. But we have to be careful when we try to teach people that you can follow that road, or you should be following that road. So let's say you can, but with any element of success, the people at the top are few. When you look at the wealth distribution within the world, is it, the top 1% have the most money, or have the biggest share of distribution of money, whereas the other 99 get the rest? Well, what does that mean? Does that mean all of us should be chasing money and be unhappy, or chasing success, or that lifestyle that's being portrayed to us? Or should we be chasing something a bit deeper, a bit different? I don't know. It's a bit of a conundrum for people. We all want to be more comfortable, and normally finance and a good career that gives us good finance builds comfort. But if I lose the relationship with my son, if I lose the relationship with my daughter, if I lose the relationship with my wife, is it worth it so that I can be more comfortable without them? I don't know. And is it worth building it all before having children and then have them later on? There's no one way to do it. But I think what I would what I would recommend, which I would always recommend, is reflect on what you want. And then when you make that decision, you can't be half in and half out. If you do want to be a good parent, and maybe the career may have to take a back seat. If you do want to have a good career, maybe having children might not be the best time, or having a relationship, it might not be the best time to have them, because they require your time, they require your effort. And soon as you let somebody know they're not more valuable than something else, again, you have an inconsistency, you have conflict, confusion, a lack of cohesion. And then when that happens, people separate, first in mind, and then in body, or in reality, because the mind has to start leaving first. And then we have the element of our spiritual side. You know, for some of us, like myself, I believe that God is my guide to what it is I really need, what's really going to fulfill me. And a lot of the time, the superficial element isn't at the forefront. You know, God first, and then you treat people according to your faith, what you found out in your heart, what's changed you. You know, so for me, finding faith has given me a hunger to try and better myself and try and be a benefit to those around me. It doesn't mean I always do it. So, you know, let's not preach perfection or claim perfection here. We're always trying. So when we fail, can we apologize? Can we be humble? Can we swallow pride? Can we allow somebody else to grow and speak whilst we take a back seat? But the expectation is there. It sits there on our phones, on our screens, telling us what we should and shouldn't be. But don't lose yourself. Stay focused on who you really want to be, and don't conform if you're not comfortable with that conformity, if that's a word. But yeah, that's my thoughts, I guess, on social media, the expectations, and the deeper meaning behind it. You guys let me know what you think when it comes to social media versus real life. It's a conversation to be had, right? Take care. Bye-bye.